can I just say one thing firstly? I love the name Eat Sleep Boxing Repeat.
Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted as always to be joined by Danny. This is the final prediction video for the big trilogy happening this Friday in New York. Danny, good to be joined by you as always. We're back again. Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano go at it for a third time. Not gonna speak too much as always, just gonna let you crack on here now. We've seen the ladies fight two times before. Both Katie Taylor wins, both close fights. What is your final prediction for this one, please?
Yeah, I am going with the same prediction that I got wrong in the second fight, but I think it'll be third time lucky for Amanda Serrano. I think, look, some of the reaction to the second fight was a bit over the top, and people calling it this mad, egregious robbery. Although I did think Serrano got the slightly better of it, and was a bit surprised at the scorecards just because of where the fight was and who was promoting it. But I think she'll do that bit more. I think she has got that bit more left in the tank than Katie Taylor. I still do believe that. I think that cut in the second fight was horrendous and will have had an impact on her performance. And even then, with that cut, I felt she'd done enough. And I mean, we can't rule out the possibility of a cut in the third fight. Certainly not with the way Katie Taylor boxes, but provided that doesn't happen, I think, as I say, Amanda Serrano's maybe the slightly fresher fighter, the bit younger, the heavier handed, and I think she'll defeat Katie Taylor on points in what I expect to be another fantastic fight.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a funny one because both fights have gone the same way. Both fights, there's been, according to some people, controversy in both fights. Another time we could be here and it could be 2-0 to Amanda Serrano. Um, but Katie Taylor is, according to the latest odds, is the underdog here. Does that surprise you considering on paper she has won both fights? It's her kind of weight class. Amanda Serrano, naturally kind of two or three weights lower. So does it surprise you that Katie Taylor is the slight underdog, Danny?
It's a weird one because I can't imagine there's been too many times in history when it's the third fight of a trilogy. You've had one fighter win the first two, and going into the third one, the fighter who's lost twice is going in as the favourite. So it should be surprising, although I do feel like the consensus among boxing fans is if anyone won the second fight, even though Taylor got it, it probably was Serrano. Um, I think again there is this perception and has been for a while that Katie Taylor's on the decline, a steady decline, not falling off a cliff. Not saying she shot the bits or anything like that, but at her age, it's only natural. Well, I feel as if that narrative hasn't surrounded Amanda Serrano as much, even though she's had more fights and she's not that much younger. So, and obviously, odds can be dictated heavily alongside other factors with where the money's going. And I think public perception is the same as mine. Not that I'm saying I dictate public perception. I know the channel's doing well. We don't get that many viewers. That Serrano is the fighter with a bit more left. So it's it's a scenario you don't see often in terms of what I've outlined earlier with the Taylor having won two fights and being the underdog. But it's not one that surprises me overly in this specific circumstance, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see how the odds change. Look, at the time of kind of making this video a week before the fight, Katie Taylor is the slight favorite. That could obviously come change if you're watching this video the day before the fight, the day of the fight. We'll see. Please let us know your prediction for this fight. Yeah, and just do let us know what you think. Going to I'm going to join you, Danny, but I feel a bit like a fool because I feel like a fool going against Katie Taylor because I feel like so many times she's maybe proved people wrong. The Chantel Cameron rematch, I think a lot of people were going for Cameron to win that fight again. Katie Taylor did win it. So yeah, I think Amanda Serrano on a very close points decision, and I think yeah, there could easily be a fourth fight because I'm not sure where either fighter goes. I know there'll be other options there. What do you make of that, Danny? As we kind of round off, could you see could you see anything other than a fourth fight? Serrano could move kind of down in weight divisions. I'm sure there's big fights there. Katie Taylor, I think she's unlikely to move up again, if you ask me. There's the Chantel Cameron rematch, but chances of kind of whatever the outcome of this fight being, there being a fourth fight.
Yeah, I think there will be a fourth fight. that's because I think Serrano will win, and if she does, Taylor, as having won the first two, is more than entitled to a fourth. And as well, because it feels like these two are sort of in their own world in female boxing in terms of stardom and the draw they are. I mean, Clarissa Shields, you could argue, but she's, light years away in terms of weight classes, so obviously those fights are never going to happen. And once boxers get a taste of the scale that this fight's on and comes with it the payday, you rarely see them too interested in fights for much lower money, particularly when they are in the latter stages of their career. The only fight that you could maybe argue even comes close is a trilogy fight with Chantel Cameron, but there's always sort of been the sense that Taylor and her team aren't particularly interested in going down that route. So I don't think that'll happen. I think the only fight I could see for either going off the back of this is what would it be? Quadrilogy fight. Which I mean I'm not gonna say no to it. These two could fight each other 10 times and you'd watch. It's always entertaining. It would be nice because I don't really we enjoy fights that are good fights. They don't have to necessarily be mega fights that get loads of interest. I mean, there's good fights, there's interesting fights. Amanda Serrano versus Alicia Baumgartner at 130 would be a fight I'd be, more than happy to watch, but it's not that big a fight, so it's probably not going to happen. So in that sense, I guess it's a bit of a shame that, you know, other contenders who could beat either of them don't get an opportunity, but at the same time, you're not going to complain about seeing these two box, and that's what I do think will happen. I do think we'll see a fourth fight.
Yeah, no, I probably agree with you, and I think that could be Katie Taylor's last fight. This could be Katie Taylor's last fight. 39 years old now, so you'd imagine there aren't too many fights left. The final question from me to you, Danny, and I do hate to kind of go down this route and ask you this, but this is an MVP show in New York. If this was a Matchroom show in Dublin, would your prediction be different?
I don't know because that was something, and I know what you're alluding to, obviously, that influenced my pick for the second fight, and that proved to be inconsequential. I was counting my money after that fight, the final bell with that, because I thought Serrano's edged that. The judges on an MVP show in Texas are obviously going to think she's won it. So sometimes, because I think as boxing fans, you become very cynical, and maybe the external factors aren't always at play, although it is something you'd have to consider. To answer your question, it probably wouldn't influence my pick. To be honest, I do fancy Serrano to win this fight pretty well. Um, but yeah, I guess it's something you have to always have in the back of your mind when making a pick.
Yeah, for sure. And again, I hate to ask you this because it shouldn't matter where the fight is, who the promoter is, what the show is. These things should be irrelevant, but unfortunately, they're not. But we'll leave it there, Danny. Really looking forward to this one. A fantastic trilogy, a fantastic first two fights. I'm sure we'll get a fantastic third fight. Danny, thank you for your time. Thank you for your prediction, and I'll speak to you again soon.
Cheers, mate. Thanks, folks.